Well, I mean, that's a lot of driving. Would have put the podcast even further back, right?
Hey, podcast co-host, best friend, all this other good stuff. You know, I, I get it. I get it. I get it. Yo, it's the Green Machine. Gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen the turtle get down?
God. Hold on.
What?
Someone,
Oh yeah.
I was flipping through TikTok and someone just hit me with a best 80s theme song, and the Ninja Turtles theme song was in there. And I was just thinking about how freaking hard that shit goes.
And it's also from 1990. No, 91, I think. Have you ever seen the turtle get down?
I have.
Slam and jam into the two swing sound.
That brings up a funny thought. I don't know. I think it is turtle power. But at one point they say that
Oh yeah.
Raphael is the leader of the group,
Yeah, Turtle power.
and they're like
Yeah.
transformed from the norm by the nuclear goop. Like,
Well, Raph was kind of I mean, he wasn't the leader, but he was definitely the focal point of that movie.
yeah, for sure. But I just remember like there's like a scene where they say that, and then like there's like people online arguing about how like Raphael is not the leader. Like,
Oh,
it's not
he
that deep,
thinks it
man.
is. There's a part in that movie that I've always wanted to recreate with somebody, but like nobody ever gets it. It's the part where they're in April's apartment and Raph and Leo are fighting because obviously they are. And
Mhm.
Donatello and Michelangelo are like, fight, fight, kitchen, kitchen, pork rind, or something like
Mhm.
that. Pork rind. Yeah, that's my secret like friendship fantasy one of these days.
If we are ever in the same area and two people are fighting and there is a kitchen, I will 100% do this with you.
I appreciate that. That's a true friend. I gotta ask,
What's up?
uh, are we recording?
Oh yeah, we've been recording.
Okay, good. It's kind of a podcast thing now where I always ask if we're recording.
And then
Uh,
that triggers me to say, welcome to the Game Dads podcast, where we talk about video games and everything but video games. Please hit the like and follow button on whatever format you're using to watch or listen to this.
yeah. And leave a comment too. I like to talk. And sometimes I drop into the YouTube comments. So if you drop a comment, maybe I'll talk to you. Maybe I won't, but maybe I will. But maybe I won't.
Who knows? It's all a mystery.
It's all a mystery. You
Okay,
know what I realized?
what's up?
It's Game Dads after dark.
Game Dads. Nice.
It's like Snick, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but not.
Okay, I wanted to ask you before, but today has been a whirlwind. I have not gotten a chance. Since we're doing a Game Dads Nights, do you want to do your 100 list, or do you want to do some other stuff instead?
I
It's going
got
to
it,
be a
dude.
long one.
It's right here next to me, ready to go.
Okay. Well,
I've got one sentence per game. If you want to elaborate on each one of them, you can. I'm fully expecting you to grill the absolute crap out of me on some of these. So I guess this is kind of a Brett episode, isn't it?
yeah,
Uh,
pretty much.
so we talked about it, and we're going to do a couple episodes. This one being my top 100 list of all time, and then Aaron's top 100 list of all time will be on an incoming episode. I used math in order to come up with my list because I'm a banker, and bankers deal with numbers and spreadsheets and all kinds of other stuff. So my list was determined based off of God, I can't remember where I landed with the original list. It was like close to 500 something. Dude, I've been playing games since the 80s, like mid 80s. I was two when I first started playing video games, and so I played hundreds, if not thousands, of video games. And so what I did was I ranked. Don't ask me when I had time to do this. We'll just not gonna, we're not going to talk about that. But everything got a weighted score behind it, from music to gameplay to nostalgia. You know whether or not the game had Dickie Simpkins in it. You know,
The Dickie
and
Simpkins bump's got to be crazy.
so like my top 10 based off of math was completely reshaped off of what I would normally put at. So please be excited.
I'm excited.
I want to know, before we get into this, just kind of a brief what you're playing. I want what you're playing, brother.
I have fallen into another satisfactory hole. I I've been playing a lot. I'm playing a lot of Marvel Rivals since The Thing and The Human Torch came out.
What is the cake situation like with the Thing and the Human Torch?
Honestly, like it's strange to say, but Thing's pretty caked up. Poor Johnny is not.
Thing got those things.
Yeah, he's got them tings.
I like that. Gamedads after dark.
Yeah, nothing in the way of Sue Storm's costume, obviously,
Right.
but I think the Thing's alternate costume is pretty dope. It's like a trench coat, like fedora, like like the New York detective or Thing costume. It just looks pretty dope. Like, and
Yeah. The Fox movie had that for a little bit too, didn't it?
yeah, the thing that I found so far is, and it's starting to, I'm getting a little bit of pessimism towards Marvel Rivals, where I've had none since it dropped, but a little bit after this one, because like the Thing has a very specific play style, and like some of the people you're playing with just aren't even attempting to like handle it properly. If the Thing has a proper healer behind him, he is super dope. You can just run
Yeah.
into the middle of a crowd and just punch the crap out of people. Like that's what he's supposed to do. You're just supposed to punch people, and he does good damage. His combo is pretty fast, so it's just like boom, 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 boom. His ultimate knocks people in the air and stuns them. So it's literally to find someone who you're having trouble beating up, knock them in the air with a stun, and then like as they're stunned, just keep punching them until they die. That's how you're supposed to play him. But like if you don't have someone standing behind you healing you, then you're just going to get like annihilated by the rest of their team. Like everyone's just going to gang up on you and kill you.
Interesting.
And like every character so far in the game since I started playing has always felt like, you don't really have to have a specific group of people behind you to play this character. You can just pick whatever character you want and play him. But like the Thing so far that I've seen, at least, if you don't have somebody healing you, you're gonna die fast.
That's kind of weird for the Thing, isn't it?
I mean, it's his play style more than anything. Like they could have given him they gave him a buttload of health. It's not that he doesn't have a lot of health. He does. I mean,
Right.
it's just if your job is to literally run up and punch people in the face, like the difference between him and like a character like the Hulk is if you run up, his Hulk's job is also to run up and punch people in the face. But if you're like getting your ass kicked, you can use the Hulk's like super jump to jump away from the bad guys to get out of the damage. Or if you can't get away, he has that moment where he turns back into Banner, and you can you throw down literally a smoke bomb that like throws you back and throws the enemies back away from you. And then you can use that time to run or find cover or whatever. But like the Hulk, the Thing, he moves slow. His mobility ability is a charge that's hard to steer. And like, it doesn't like instantly take you out of like the combat. You literally would have to like turn around and run the other direction away from the bad guys. And like while you're turning around to run away, they're shooting you in the back. Like that's the first character that I felt didn't have that like, you can just jump in and play this character. And that's the first time out of like the 35 characters I feel like you can't just use this character whenever you want.
Right.
And that's like, okay, well, you kind of put a character in here who is, if I were to put him in the like, okay, the way I could basically explain this is he's been out for like a week at this point. When they first dropped Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic, like people were still playing those characters nonstop. Like I went into games like 2 days ago when I was playing, and like I played a bunch of games where I didn't see Johnny or the Thing, and that's like, I was like, which Johnny is way better. He's just like a really good offensive character, but like the Thing, like if you don't have the right backup to play the Thing, you're just gonna get stomped. Like so, like that was interesting. It was interesting because I thought it was just gonna this gravy train was gonna roll forever. But speaking of which, did you hear about the DC rivals that is apparently being worked on?
DC Rivals?
Uh
No.
huh. Yeah, they're DC is in the concept of making a, from what I've heard, a Batman Beyond game. Rocksteady is talking about it, and then
Oh, okay,
they're
yeah.
also
I thought you meant like a Marvel
no,
Rivals.
they're also talking about doing a Marvel Rivals. Like
Oh,
DC's
okay.
talking about doing a Marvel rival, like the exact same thing, like a hero shooter, but with all the DC characters.
Right. I did hear about the Batman Beyond thing. DC's kind of a sore subject right now for I mean a lot of reasons. Like the studio's getting shut down and Wonder Woman getting canceled and all this other stuff. Like I'm pretty ticked off about Monolith, but like the thing about Batman Beyond is I'm really excited about Batman Beyond if that really ends up being a thing. A lot of the key talent that makes Arkham special has left. Like Sefton Hill left in the middle of Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was sort of like the brains behind all those games. He was Batman super fan number one. I I really hope that whatever this next Arkham game be, whether it is Batman Beyond or something else, God, I hope it's good, man. Like I have a feeling that with all these studios getting closed through WB, because it was Monolith, it was the studio behind the Cartoon Network Smash Brothers game,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. What is it called? Multiverses. The studio behind that, they just bought them. Like I kind of got this feeling that Rocksteady may be on the chopping block, especially after Suicide Squad. I just please
Yeah.
make it. Please let it be good. If it is Batman Beyond, get Will Friedle back. I understand, like you can't. I mean, Kevin Conroy, unfortunately, is no longer alive. But this is a good chance to recast you know old Bruce if you need to. Batman Beyond's so rad. It's so rad.
Yeah, that's my thing. I love Batman Beyond so much that like
Yeah.
I just like it's been so close, like at the tippy tip of like getting the shine that it needs to like become its own property, but they just have not taken the leap. And it's like, just do it. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Just give it to us a little bit. Then Static Shock, you bastards. But anyway,
Yeah, Static Shock too. I Batman Beyond was always kind of a funny one because it did not get the appreciation that it deserves when it was running, and they canceled it before they could end it. Did you ever see the actual ending to it that they did in Justice League? I think it's Unlimited.
we talked about it and then I looked it up.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Super rad. Like, great ending and all that stuff. Like Batman Beyond it's getting the flowers that it deserves now. Comics and this, I guess maybe people just rediscovering it either through like HBO Max or it's been on sale a couple times, like the Blu-ray and all that good stuff. But like, I'm glad that people are finally appreciating it for what it is because I mean, it's still technically in the animated series universe, and Will Friedle was great as Terry McGinnis, and it's got a lot of really cool, like the movies they did for it were pretty good, pretty great. Tim Drake being a reincarnated Joker.
Oh yeah.
Uh, oh my gosh, dude! Like, how messed up is that? Like, I don't know, man. Just WB, you get a stand down.
Okay, so
First
I got
initial.
I got two more games that I've been playing.
Hit me.
Um, Moonlighter. I think I talked about this last time, maybe, but Moonlighter. It's the a game that's like it's like a roguelike, and then you go inside, and I go and sell all the stuff you get in the dungeon. I've been playing that.
Yeah.
It's just like just some mindless like. Sometimes you need that like well, dodge roll strike. Sometimes you just need that in your life.
Yeah.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been. That's how I've been scratching that itch. And then the last one is Scarlet Nexus.
Oh, I saw you playing that.
Mm-hmm.
A weird one, isn't it?
It's a weird one. It's weird getting in. It's like I played it for a little while and then I completely dropped it. And then I just like I said, I'm on my quest to get these clear screens. So I was like, oh, hey, I'll just pick this up. I enjoyed it, and like I jumped back in and just like got reoriented into the game and like got the battle and combo system down again and finally started kicking butt again. And I was like, all right. And like the only thing I can say about that game is like it's one of those things where like if they took it a different direction, I think it would have been a much better game. But it's like you go through the levels, which are I mean, so far. I mean, maybe I'm just not far enough in the game to see the rest yet, but like you go through a level and you kind of just like go through the same levels over and over again and like you run through I've been running through this like one highway. I swear I've gone through it like 6 times. Just like
Yeah.
back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then like you fight a boss and the bosses are cool and like you're throwing cars and stuff at them and doing all kinds of like combos and stuff. And then like cutscene, 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 cutscene. So many cutscenes. like
Right.
I like I understand what's going on here, but like just make it an RPG if you want if you want to like give me this much story and like all of this, just make a little like screen at the bottom pop up that just reads the text. Like I don't need a freaking cutscene for every word that every character says.
Yeah.
Like just
I kind of felt that way about Astral Chain as well. Like, and it reminded me of Astral. Did you ever play that?
no, no, no. But I know what game you're talking about, but I never actually got into it.
I mean, you close your eyes, like they're the same game. Like it's, well, I guess if you close your eyes, not really looking at anything, are you? But they're both very similar. But yeah, and I think Scarlet Nexus also came out around Tales of Arise,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Tales of Arise just for them both being kind of anime type, style games was just the better game,
Yeah.
you know. So
I mean, I'm not finished with Scarlet Nexus yet, but I would definitely say that Tales of Arise is the better game. But it's just like like it so many cutscenes and like I got back into that mode and I had to like calm your brain, Aaron. This is the game. Watch it and play it and understand what's going on. Because like my finger was on like the skip button because it's just every time someone started talking, it was another cutscene. And I was like, "Ugh," and I was like, no, I know you're trying to complete games, but this is the game. You can't just skip all the cutscenes. It's not. You're not. This isn't the second run. You have to watch what's going on.
yeah, you're not Brett playing an anime game and turning the voices off and skipping cutscenes.
I mean I'm you like it doesn't take a lot for me to get into a story. So like
Yeah,
I'm normally not that guy, but like I was like every time someone starts talking, another cutscene, and it's like they're not even good cutscenes. Like there's not like fully animated cutscenes. It's like that comic book style. And I'm like,
yeah,
just just put a freaking box at the bottom of the screen and let these people talk so I can do something. Don't just
yeah,
like stop the entire game every 30 seconds so someone can go on diatribe about something random. Like I was just like, okay, I gotta rein it back in because I'm doing the thing. I have to like, this is the game. Sit back and enjoy it. I mean, the stuff that I was like before I hit that point, I was like, this story is going all kinds of places. This is crazy. This is all kinds of stuff. Post-apocalyptic zombies, like it was crazy. But like, yeah, I got to a point where I was like, there's too many cutscenes. I can't.
Yeah.
Gotta stop.
It's supposed to be pretty short though.
Yeah, I can already feel I'm getting like towards the end of the game.
You got to see it through.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. Let's see if
Right
I can
on.
actually get it done the next couple of days to see if I can finish it and put it in my list of completed games for February. If not, I'll finish it up at the beginning of March. Which I
I'm up
gotta
to 9.
I I'm about to come after you because I just downloaded the Mega Man X collection on my Switch.
Yeah,
It
buddy.
it was on sale for like $2.
Oh yeah, man. It was it just Legacy Collection 1 or that had 2 with it as well?
I think it was just one, but
That's all you need.
yeah, it was on sale for $2. So I was like, $2 rule. Click. I'm downloading this just to have it on my just to have Mega Man X on my Switch. I will pay $2.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like get super into all the games that I've been playing. It's mostly just Mega Man. But I had my vasectomy. It would be 2 weeks ago on Friday. So I had some downtime. And so I beat games. The day of my surgery, dude, I beat Super Mario Bros. 2. I beat God of War Ragnarok that weekend. Went through God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, which is that roguelike one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started beating Mega Man games, like left, right, and center. I went to the original Legacy collection, and then I beat 6. And then I finished it up, and I'm like, I want to play 5. And then I beat it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play 4. So on the 17th, I beat 6, 5, and 4 all back to back to back. And then I started playing Mega Man Zero, the ZX Legacy Collection,
Mm-hmm.
and I beat 0, 1, and 0, 2. So I've been on a Mega Man kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's my that's my happy place.
Yeah.
So
I
your boy's a veteran.
I got sucked into this freaking Satisfactory hole. I was like I was like a week into this hole that I've been in, and I'm like, I was trying to beat games. This is slowing me down. And then I was like,
Yeah.
nope, not gonna put myself in that position anymore.
Nope.
I'm gonna let it
Do
flow.
what makes you happy. Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
And right now it is
It's
Satisfactory, and I have basically been just creating little factories all over the entire map now. Well, not little factories. Some of them are actually huge, but I've been creating factories. I've been doing like architecture and like different types of like buildings and like making the factories really long and making the factories really tall and like just I've been just dipping and dabbing and everything and I'm having a lot of fun. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I got a vacation
yep.
coming up. I don't know. I have a vacation scheduled, but I technically got a new job last week, but I told
Congrats.
the person that I wanted to interview for a system software developer job that opened. So I'm interviewing for that software developer job next week. And if I get the software developer job, then I'm going to the software development job. But if I don't, I'm going to the other job I got. So like I technically have a new job already, but I don't know which one.
Heck yeah, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's a positive in and of itself. I know we save those for the end of the show typically, but man, that's killer, dude. Proud of you.
Yep. I'm very excited. But that's it for me for games. I do want to get into your list because I feel like we're gonna be here for a while, and I don't.
I think we can get through this pretty quickly, honestly. I want you to grill me when you feel like you need to grill me. This is a brat ass list. I'm going to tell you what. Some of these, like the placements, kind of surprise me a little bit. Again, I used math. Like I didn't just like I'm gonna put this here. I didn't cherry pick this shit. It's all math. And my top 10 is all fucked up.
Okay. To the
Game Dads After
fans,
Dark.
to the
Huh?
fans, this is what to the people listening. This is what I want to say to the people listening. I don't know if I know a person who plays more games than Brett does. So the idea of you making a list of games and try and like using, I would trust your opinion on any of the individual stats of a game. I trust your opinion on all of them. So like for you to say like, oh, I took all of my games that I could think of to put on a top 100 list, then I ranked them with my my opinions on each of these categories in that game. Then I used like a calculator to calculate what this list should be. To me, this is like this is something that I will might take out of the podcast and put somewhere for people to read if they want to.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say, like message boards. I in before, and before Brett's a fucking dork. So without further ado, oh, and by the way, this is my list, not yours. To all the listeners and all that stuff. So if you get mad at me, kindly fuck yourself.
Or we can discuss it in the comments.
We can discuss it in the comments. If you're gonna, if people be mean about stuff, I don't think anybody in our audience is mean. But no, I would love to discuss it with people. Without further ado, number 100, Fight Night Round 3 for the Xbox 360. I'm serious. It was the first game I bought for my Xbox 360. It was the reason why I bought my Xbox 360 in 2006.
You bought an Xbox 360 for Fight Night?
I did. I love Fight Night. I was obsessed with because there were only three of them at that point, hence round three. There was Fight Night 2004, and then there was Fight Night Round 2, which had, if you bought that on GameCube, you could fight with like Nintendo characters, which is kind of cool. And I think it came with Punch Out like built into it. But Fight Night Round 3 was super basic on PS2 and all that, but on 360, because that console was like pretty new at the time, it had like the sweat physics. And dude, I was a god at that game. Like I undefeated when I worked at Game Crazy. Like if you could beat me, like I would give you a gift card. But if I beat you, you got to pre-order a game. So I got a lot of game pre-orders out of that one. Number 99, WCW versus NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64. That checks, right?
I mean, that definitely checks. I just combining the idea. I guess we did. There were a lot of wrestling games that we played. This
Mhm.
wasn't our garage one. So like,
It was.
was it?
Yeah, it was. We did the 40-man battle royals, and sometimes you got
I thought that
Simon Dallas
was.
Page. Sometimes you got Disco Inferno. That's how it goes.
Yep. I that surprises me that it's that low. Then I figured.
It's that's the power of math.
I'm gonna say I figured
Uh,
the nostalgia might have carried it higher, but we're talking math here, so I'm not arguing.
Number 98 is Chrono Cross for the PlayStation.
So I would have thought this one might be a little higher.
It's not higher. It was one of the first two PlayStation games I bought. When I got my PlayStation super late, I got it in like 2000, 2001, something like that. I got it for like $30. And when I went to the store, I bought Chrono Cross and I bought Final Fantasy VIII. Chrono Cross came with I was obsessed with it, dude. Obsessed. But I got a great game breaking bug, one of the discs, and no matter how many files I started, it always hit that bug. So I couldn't finish it. And to this day, I've never finished Chrono Cross.
Oh, well, I thought this one would be higher. I definitely remember when that remake dropped. Definitely remember hearing some Brett noise about that remake.
Oh yeah. I've got it on my Steam Deck. It's just a matter of time before I actually get back and finish it. I may actually do that here soon because obsessed with my Steam Deck as of late. All right. Number 97 is Jack and Daxter, the precursor legacy for PlayStation 2.
Definitely knew there was going to be some Jack and Daxter on this list.
Well, I guess spoilers, that's the only one that's on there. I thought Jack and Daxter was very exceptional. It was my first Naughty Dog game because, like, dude, I hated Crash Bandicoot, but I never bought it. I hate Crash Bandicoot with a passion. But Jack and Daxter was like all the good things about Crash, and it took a lot of, like, it built on Super Mario 64 a lot. So like that sort of not open world, but like the different areas you can go to, like the platforming and all that stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
was just very exceptional.
The As far as Crash Bandicoot is concerned, like just to pop in, I I remember loving Crash Bandicoot when Crash Bandicoot was the only thing to play.
Yeah,
But
I
like
like Parappa the Rapper.
not like Parappa the Rapper.
I hate Parappa the Rapper.
But I remember liking Crash Bandicoot when Crash Bandicoot was the only thing to play. And then like
Mhm.
now looking back, like not looking back in like a looking back at my experience, like looking back at that actual game, I'm like, nah, I don't want to play that shit.
Yeah,
Like
the remake was better, but no, Crash can die in a fire. Xbox can have them.
I don't know if I take it to die in a fire because it was one of the original PlayStation games. But like
Oh, I mean, respect, yeah, but
but like
like I have more respect for Spyro than I do for Crash.
I can agree with that too. But like if somebody was like, "Hey, I got this free copy of the Crash remakes. Like, do you want it?" I'd be like, "You know anybody else that wants it?" Because like, not really. like, like, I wouldn't like just out of respect. I wouldn't be like, "Yeah, give it to me." I'd be like, "Am I the first person you asked?" Like,
Yeah.
okay, continue. Sorry.
96 is Resident Evil 5 for the Xbox 360. I'm putting the consoles on here, which I bought them first. So if it sounds a little bit weird, it's because I bought Resident Evil 5 on Xbox 360. I love RE5. I'm a Resident Evil guy. This is I think it's one of the more fun ones. And the fact that it's low on the list is actually kind of surprising for me too. But no, I love RE5.
One of the weirdest things that I just thought about. I think
Mhm.
Resident Evil 5 might be the only Resident Evil I haven't actually played.
Really?
Yeah, I played 6, I played 4, 3, 2, and 1. I
Hmm.
played 7 and 8, but I don't think I ever actually played 4 or actually played 5. Like I've seen it, I know what it's about, but I've never actually played it.
I would, I've only played it a couple times co-op, but I'd be happy to co-op that with you. I, I can play as Sheva. Like she's left-handed, so it's a little bit weird. Like RE5 is mean to death. Like the boulder punching stuff, blah 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 blah. Like it's an exceptional video game, dude. It's really good.
Yeah, here's the thing about me specifically is I keep like I've already said it once. I can get into pretty much anything, and Resident Evil games they're just supposed to be there was an era at least where they were just supposed to be like fun. Like the
Yeah,
horror elements weren't exactly the strongest suits that were coming out of those games. Some of them were just supposed to be fun. And I think Resident
yeah,
Evil 5 is one of those. And I would
it is.
absolutely get down with some Resident Evil 5. The plan was originally me and Andrea were going to go through Resident Evil 5, but we hit this like random spot. I own it. I have it on PC. Like we were gonna play. I actually think I have 2 copies. We were gonna play it, but it just never ended up happening for some reason.
That's good. I platinumed that one on my own with no co-op help, which is saying something because Sheva is dumb. 95. Gears of War 2, Xbox 360.
I mess with that.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got a sentence to say about each one of these. That was I worked at Game Crazy for the midnight release of that. And my buddy Ryan, we stayed up all night, pissed his wife off Like we were only supposed to play just like for a little bit or whatever, and we played that game until the sun came up and beat it. It was really fun.
Yeah, I can definitely see it because I remember I played. That was one of the. It was one of those games that like every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, me and my brother would get together to play something. And Gears of War, I literally just like one day I went to his house and we sat on the floor in his room and we played all of Gears of War 2. Just like start, like played like 6 hours, stop. Like I went home. Like 2 days later, I came back over and then we sat down on this floor for another 6 hours and played through the rest. Like,
Yeah, it's a great game, dude. Horde mode, gotta
yeah,
love it.
yeah, super fun.
It's 94. Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube.
Ooh, I was definitely expecting Luigi's Mansion to be higher.
Yeah, me too. I love Luigi's Mansion. I like that people are giving it its flowers now. Kind of like we were talking about Batman Beyond earlier. People did not like that game when it came out, but like everybody wanted the Mario game when GameCube launched, and we got Luigi's Mansion, Smash Bros, and Pikmin. It says a lot about the GameCube. I love how weird that console is. Just it was experimental Nintendo, and I've Aaron's heard me say this before, and I think it may have said it on the pod a couple times, but Luigi's Mansion is baby's first Resident Evil.
Yeah, I also am a big fan of just the game. The GameCube, I feel like, is the last console that had like peripherals and stuff. Like,
We had them.
yeah, I was just saying, like the GameCube is like the last console that had those. Like the rest, like
Oh,
after GameCube, it was like, no, we don't do that anymore. Just hook up your controllers and play. We everything's online. That's what we do. But like
oh, I
the
got. Oh,
GameCube had all those little things you could hook up to it, and you could hook up a bunch of Game Boy Advances and all kinds of other
oh
weird
yeah.
stuff. I think I love that about the GameCube. I love that like Nintendo when they put that console out, they were just like, no, we just put whatever you want on it. Like you want to play four separate copies of fucking Final Fantasy, yeah, just hook it all up. Just plug them all in. We'll figure it out.
You don't want Donkey Kong Country 4. You went Donkey Konga.
Yeah, yeah. You want to hook up some Congo drums? Like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
Well, who cares?
that's
Just do it.
that's what Donkey Kong is. All right. 93, Marvel's Spider-Man, PS4.
Heck yeah.
Love Spider-Man.
This is a great game. I'm glad it's on the list. I'm again surprised at where it is. I feel like it's a like I'm not arguing with you, I guess, because we're talking math, but I feel like
Dude,
it's a solid entry in like the single player adventure like genre.
I love that you got the PlayStation sort of like cinematic, like in the vein of like Uncharted and Last of Us and all that stuff. It's a fun, it's an Insomniac ass game. Like it's got the Ratchet and Clank gizmos and all that stuff, but it's got like the Sony story. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
92, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii. Love that game. Not the last Metroid Prime you'll see on this list.
That I did know. I
91. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I I I think I played Metroid Prime the original, but I haven't played any of the sequels. It's one of those games that I want to take the time to go back to, especially before the freaking Half-Life 3 of Nintendo Metroid Prime 4 actually drops, but like
Mhm.
I want to go back to it. I've been kind of mini hunting for that collection just so I could play them, but yeah, you know how I am about buying games, so
I do. And it's that collection is a little on the expensive side too. So at 91 is Mass Effect 3 for the Xbox 360, which
I
that should actually read PlayStation 3 because that's where I play Mass Effect 3.
I mess with that.
Uh, do you?
Yep. I mean, I you know me, I like me some Mass Effect. I don't have any argument with Mass Effect 3 being where it is on the list.
It's my least favorite Mass Effect, but
Yeah.
it's still like you can't have one without you can't have you have to have it the whole thing together. And I almost kind of cheated and put the Mass Effect trilogy there, but like each individual game is an individual game to me.
Yeah. I yeah, don't care. I mean, don't mind where that is on the list at all. And I'm glad that it's here. I mean, still think with all three, if you put all three Mass Effect games together, I mean, you'd have to throw that thing towards the bottom of the list for me to be happy.
Uh-huh.
But you put Mass Effect 3 by itself, this is a good spot for it.
Agreed. Number 90 might be a little controversial. It's Bloodborne for the PS4. Bloodborne is, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Math, guys, math. Bloodborne is the only FromSoft game I've ever beaten. I treated it as a Castlevania game. I think that's the only reason why I got through it. I mainlined it for 60 hours and absolutely adore it. I think it's the best game From's ever made. It's the only From game on this list, I think. I'm not a Souls guy, but I do. I think Bloodborne is the best game that they've ever made.
I I mean, I'm surprised, but I agree with it being on the list for sure. I think that even though it's not my type of game, even if it's not your type of game, you can definitely see that they were seriously cooking when they made this game. Like you can
Yeah,
see it in the game, even if it's not like I said, even if it's not your type of game, you can see the like the energy that they put into this game, even if it's not your game, it's not your type of game. And I can say for sure, like if you look at the fans of Bloodborne, like I don't know. I mean, it's been a while. I won't say I don't know because there have been some game pushes, some people like this about specific games that have taken a long time to finally drop. But like every time Sony says a word, there is like a crowd of people gathered to be like, are they about to talk about Bloodborne getting remastered? Are they about to talk about Bloodborne 2? Like, no one has hinted that any of these things are coming down any pipeline, and every
right.
single game release for the last 5 years has been almost every single one has been seen ahead of time by somebody. Someone's leaked or dropped something, not a word about Bloodborne coming out, but
Nope.
every single time Sony opens their mouth, there's a group of people who are sitting like, maybe they're going to talk about Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne's
Yeah.
been dropping comic books and all kinds of other stuff. And every time a word about Bloodborne drops, people are salivating and then extremely disappointed. Like, just
Well,
the rabidness of that fan base tells you how good that game is.
my controversial take, I think Bloodborne fans are babies. And I think that it's a vocal minority that keeps doing like they'll drop in the comments of the PlayStation Direct, Bloodborne win. They get their own hopes up. And if it ever does happen, you better show up because, yeah, I think it's crying over. Like Bloodborne's great and all that stuff, and I do think it deserves a patch, like at least a 60 frame patch. But stand down. 89 is Shovel Knight for the PS4.
Shovel Knight, heck yeah.
I love Shovel Knight.
I would have thought this one was going to be, but I'm gonna stop saying that because I'm gonna say I feel like I'm gonna say it a lot. But
Yeah.
Shovel Knight definitely deserves to be here. It's a
Hmm.
it's I mean, hey guys, work on Shovel Knight too, but like it's a
Yeah.
like if it seems like one of those games that like the creators just like fell in love with and they
Hmm.
just like could not stop. Like they were like, what if every single character in in Shovel Knight had their own game? Like they could
Yeah.
not stop for a while.
Love me some Shovel Knight, man. 88 is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the PS5. There's a reason why I put this one instead of the original one for PS4. It runs better, obviously. I think the Yuffie stuff is vital. And that's also where I did my hard mode playthrough. So yeah, remake is just it's fantastic. It's top tier Final Fantasy.
I I completely agree. I think it's we were just talking about Bloodborne. I think it's the other game that like people were screaming about over and over again, even though there wasn't a
Oh
slightly
yeah,
slightest hint that it was gonna release, but then it did, and it lived up to everybody's expectations and in a lot of ways surpassed them. So like
right.
this game is a legend in its own right just because of how many times we've had something promised to us and then delivered half-assedly in comparison to how whole ass Final Fantasy VII Remake was.
Hmm. Agreed. 87 is Gears of War 3 for the Xbox 360. Pretty much everything I said about Gears of War 2, copy paste, with the exception of that ending. The whole theme was like brothers to the end, and everything with Dom was just like, if you would have told me that a game about beefed up military men and women would make this grown man cry, I didn't cry, but I was very saddened by that ending. It's a fantastic, and then horde mode was like even better in Gears 3. So, and I bought a console for it. Like I bought a second Xbox 360. I bought that badass red Lambda edition. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so good. 86 is Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch.
Yep. What I will say is I feel like one of the cool things that Mario does, people always talk about, oh, Mario just drops the same game over and over again, the same game over and over again. I'm like, Brody, like you think Mario Sunshine and Mario Odyssey are the same game? Like they are not, not even
Yeah.
close. Like
Yeah. One's good and one's not.
okay, okay, they're not the same game. They're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. Like you people complain about that like so much, but like you can have the same characters do the same thing and it can be a completely different game. Like
Yeah. It's on my list because of how good it is. It's also on here because it was Drake's. It was like the Switch was his console, and Mario Odyssey was his Mario game. And be able to share that with him and pass that torch
mhm.
and be able to play that with him was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying heck yeah.
I go from something very heartfelt in '86 to number of 85 in WWE SmackDown. Here comes the pain. Top tier wrestling game. It's so good. Very arcadey. Has the realistic graphics on PS2 and arcadey, arcadey wrestling style. When Brock Lesnar throws somebody, they go flying way into the air. That's great. 84 is Sonic Adventure 2 for the Dreamcast.
Heck yeah. I we just watched Sonic 3 like 2 nights ago.
Did you like it?
Oh, loved it. I
Oh, it's so good.
Someone pointed out to me that each of those Sonic movies like handles a Sonic meme, and I didn't notice it until they pointed out all the scenes, and
Hmm.
I'm so depressed. The first one is the Sonic, the really horrible drawing of Sonic.
Yeah.
The second one is Robotnik says, "I will show you the way," and
Um,
that's the Ugandan Knuckles meme. He says it to
yeah.
Knuckles. And then the third one is that Shadow is obsessed with Latinas, and then there's a
Yeah.
scene where he's watching a Mexican soap opera talking about this Latina woman. Like, you
Yeah.
snuck all of those on me except for the first one. I don't even know. How did you get away with it? How did they get away with it?
Yeah. Drake and I were joking about the Latinas thing on the way there, and he knows about it. And I said that if they talk about Latinas in this movie, like I'm going to be so happy. And they did. And they got the guy from Ted Lasso. He's in the Bennett movies as well, but like he is hilarious.
I Sonic Adventure is also awesome and legendary, and it totally deserves to be on this list.
Oh, dude, it's on here for music and the levels. It's lower on the list because like the Tails levels and the Eggman levels and I don't like the Rouge stuff. I think Knuckles levels aren't always all that great either, but the Sonic and Shadow stuff is absolutely legendary.
Yeah. It the the way they put it together and like gave you like one side, then the other side, then the Sonic and the Supersonic stuff and Super Shadow stuff. Like the way they put it
Mhm.
together, like fits perfectly. But like there is like I can't say that like you should cut all of those Rouge, Knuckles, Tails, and Robotnik levels out, but like maybe like one Sonic level and then like Tails and then another Sonic level and then Knuckles and then another Sonic
Yeah,
level. Like maybe like, but the game is still awesome.
yeah. All right, we're gonna power through some of these here. I don't know if you got something to say about them. Definitely chime in.
Yep, go.
83 is Paper Mario for the N64.
Mm-hmm.
82 is Psychonauts for the Xbox.
I like it.
I do too. I love that game. 81 is Grand Theft Auto 4 for the PS3.
I mess with Grand Theft Auto 4.
The only Rockstar, or that's the first Rockstar game I ever beat. Remember
Saints
80, I
Row.
will talk about a little bit. Remember 80, what's that?
So I think mine was Saints Row.
Really? That's not a Rockstar game. If you would have said Manhunt, I would have just hung up. Number 80 is Contra 3, The Alien Wars for the Super Nintendo. I put this one here, I think, because Contra Hardcore is one of it's. I think I love Contra Hardcore on the Genesis, but Alien Wars got the nostalgia vote mostly because I played it with a lot with my dad, and my dad doesn't play a lot of video games, but he loves Contra.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So my dad he and Star Fox. My dad loves Star Fox. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He's a but not like Star Fox 64. Yeah, he loves original Star Fox. He thought that was like the bee's knees.
My dad is my dad's Punch Out.
Oh yeah, dude. I love Punch Out. I can see your dad playing Punch Out too.
Oh yeah.
A 79 is Batman Arkham Knight for the PS4.
That is number 3, right?
That's the third one, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Getting the Nightfall protocol in that game was a pain in the butt. Number 78 is DuckTales for the NES. I think
I
that's our first NES game. Yep.
I mess with that heavy. Freaking
I do
DuckTales.
too. Number 77 is a game that you and I both love. Persona 5 The Royal on PS4.
Gamedads nights. Fuck yeah.
I love it. It's still, I think, one of the most, it's an all timer for RPGs. Like, not just JRPGs, but just RPGs in general. And Anne is still my lady. 76. I think you're going to probably punch me in the face, maybe. Sonic Frontiers, the PS5. Why did this game score so high? Let me tell you, dear listeners, I think it's the best 3D Sonic game.
Is it that boss battle music?
The soundtrack's up there too. Yeah, I think it's got a great soundtrack. I love the open zone stuff. It reminded me a lot of Tony Hawk. Have you played Frontiers yet?
I have not. I've seen
Okay,
it, but I haven't played it.
it it's on sale on Steam right now. It's like $18. Totally worth it. It's a great Tony Hawk game.
All
Number 75 is Devil May Cry 5 for the PS4.
right.
Spoilers, not the last time you'll see Devil May Cry on this list.
If there
Number
was only
74.
if there was ever
Oh, I'm sorry.
only if there was only one Devil May Cry on this list and it was Devil May Cry 5, I might have like gone to your house to check your head.
I'm gonna spoil one thing about the list. Devil May Cry 2 is nowhere near this list. 74 is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for the Super Nintendo.
Heck yeah.
Love that game. Malo, Gino, Bowser. Ugh, so good.
So good.
73 is Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis.
Oop.
72 is, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I gotta stop saying okay. Okay. All I said was okay.
You're
I gotta
good.
stop saying it. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Number 72 is Assassin's Creed 2 for the PS3. 71 is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. And number 70 is Ratchet and Clank Future: A Crack in Time for the PS3. 69 and 68 cracked me up. And you may punch me for this one. I don't know. Number 69 is Super Mario Brothers 3 for the NES.
What?
Number 68 is Super Mario Brothers 2 for the NES. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Super Mario Brothers 2 is better than Super Mario Brothers 3. It's my favorite 2D Super Mario game. I like the music. I love Super Mario Brothers 3, don't get me wrong. Played that a lot with my grandpa. Super Mario Brothers 2, I it's so weird. And like when you go back to like the whole Nintendo Mania, like when like the cartoon and like just like all the merchandise and stuff, it was all Super Mario Brothers 2. And I was probably 3 or 4 when that game came out. And my cousins were around the same age. And we were obsessed with Mario Brothers 2. So I think that's why it's a little bit higher.
I I know this about you, so I'm not surprised, but just just shaking my head over here.
I understand. I get it. Like, and there's not anything wrong with Mario World or Mario Brothers 3. It's just I like Mario Brothers 2 a lot. It's so weird. And it was the first time that like it gave Luigi and Toad and Princess a like a personality. Like they each have their own individual abilities. I love that about it.
Just
All right.
just as a person who I know appreciates Mario, it's so weird to pick Super Mario 2, the game that's not actually a Super Mario Brothers game, to be your favorite Super Mario game.
Not we'll say 2D. Please be excited.
Just saying, it's just I knew this was coming, so I'm not surprised. It's just
Now here comes the rage. Number 67 is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End for the PS4. Um, I like that game. The ending was really sweet. I also like the themes of like, Frank, why are you doing this? You don't have to be doing this. Like, just go home. You know, like he was just taking advantage of people. Just I really like A Thief's End. Really appreciate that one.
I still need to.
No,
I have it. I still need to play it.
have you played the other three?
Yeah, I've played all of the other three. I bought four and then just I don't know what happened. I just never got around to playing it. I was too busy playing freaking. I can't remember, but I know what game it is, but I can never remember what it's called. It was made by Monkeys Can Fly.
Monkeys can fly. People can fly.
Maybe People Can Fly.
Was it Bulletstorm?
Yes, it's Bulletstorm.
God, I'm good.
I got so distracted by freaking Bulletstorm, and I never went back to play Uncharted 4 because I love Bulletstorm.
Number 66, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes for the GameCube. That's another weird one. That game's hard. That game's so hard, but it's great. It's got Dark Samus in it. That's where that one comes from. Oh, and dude, I played. Well, my roommates were not like they were like Madden gamers. I like Madden too. We played the local co-op, or I'm sorry, the local deathmatch multiplayer that Echoes had like crazy. It took my over my whole apartment. It was uncanny.
That is a sentence I don't think I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know, right? Number 65 is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker for the GameCube.
Wind Waker, solid choice.
Number 64 is The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess for the Wii.
Also a solid choice. I like Wind Waker. I like Twilight Princess. It does weird things that I like.
Let me take this opportunity to say that everybody was wrong about The Wind Waker when it came out. It was great, and it still is.
Bro, always got to get you on that Wind Waker.
I will never forget. Like it's a steel trap up here, dude, and I remember everything. Number 63 is The Last of Us for the PlayStation 3.
Mm.
I thought this one would be a little bit higher. I wasn't as big on The Last of Us when it came out. It wasn't until I played it a couple different times that it really started clicking for me. Drake was really small when it came out,
I get it.
and I wasn't playing with headphones or anything like that. I didn't have headphones. So like it just I don't know. But I do but I still think The Last of Us Part Two is better. I'm not sure if that's on the list or not. We'll find out.
All right.
Number 62 is Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception for the PS3. I like the PS3.
Yeah. PS3
Uh,
is definitely popping on your list.
yeah. I played a lot of PS3. That's another console that was not popular when it came out.
It was like
61.
$800. So yeah.
Oh, dude. Have you done the inflation
Yeah, the inflation
calculator on that?
calculation for it is like $834 net in today's money.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
It's crazy time.
Number 61 is Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. My favorite, they call them classic Vanias now, I guess. I really like Castlevania 3. Just I love that one, but Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo was just apparently it's a remake of one, kind of, or a reimagining of it. I didn't know that until I don't know the last few years maybe, but it makes sense. Really good though. I'm obsessed with it. And I beat that again last year, so it was on my list.
Hmm.
Number 60 is Batman Arkham City for the PS3. 59 is Devil May Cry 3 for the PS2. 58 is Mega Man X3 for the Super Nintendo.
I didn't think anything past Mega Man X2 was even going to be here.
I love X4. I do like X3. X3 is weird. And then X4, that was the PlayStation version. You get to play as Zero in that one. It's dope. 57 is Ratchet and Clank Going Commando for the PS2.
Mhm.
56 is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. I love Link's Awakening, dude. And I never owned it though. I borrowed it from James's brother, Chris.
Mhm.
55 was Bioshock Infinite for the PS3.
Yeah, that one surprises me.
How so?
Uh, I wouldn't have if you had told me that you were writing this list from scratch, I wouldn't have imagined this would be lower than 25.
I see that too. Yeah. When I kind of put it into perspective too, like some of these being lower on the list, like of the hundreds of games that I had like to start with, whittling it down to just 100. I've never done anything like this before. So I mean it's still kind of low, but like in the grand scheme of things, like I think it's placed pretty appropriately. Excuse me. And number 54 is Mass Effect for the Xbox 360. 2007 was nuts, dude. Like it was BioShock, it was Mass Effect, it was Halo 3, and it was Uncharted Drake's Fortune. And Mass Effect took over Game Crazy when I was working there. It's so good.
I kind of
Especially coming off of I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry. I kind of came in late to the Mass Effect thing. I don't even know what like what made me play Mass Effect 2, but like the way it ended up happening was I picked up Mass Effect 2 for some reason. I don't remember why. Started playing it and I liked it so much that I was like, nah, I'm putting this down. I got to bit Mass Effect 1. We got to play that first. And then me and Andrea both did a crazy Mass Effect run to try and like play through Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 before Mass Effect 3 came out. And it was like, I don't know if there's any other game that I played and like so quickly realized how good it was that I put it down to like picked up the original so I could play that
Mhm.
first. I don't know if I've ever had that happen. Then that's how good Mass Effect 2 is.
Did you do it all on PS3?
Yeah.
See, and that's the weird part of it too. before EA had bought BioWare, the first and the second Mass Effect games were published by Microsoft. Like most of the BioWare games, like Jade Empire and KOTOR, all that stuff, it was all published by Microsoft. Nuts.
Crazy.
No. So like Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 are both Xbox exclusives. And that by itself was just nuts to me too. All right, we're not even halfway through this list. 53 is Banjo Kazooie for the N64. 52 is Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Sega Genesis. And I am counting those as one game.
Just you saying those words out loud, I'm actually gonna go play Sonic and Knuckles again, like tomorrow.
Oof. Say what?
Just you saying those words aloud, I'm gonna go play Sonic 3 and Knuckles like tomorrow. Like
My man.
just as soon as you said it, my brain started picturing that level, the first level with all those like red leaves, and I was like, I need to play that right now.
Do you still have the carts?
I don't have a Sega anymore, but I I don't remember. I think I had it on emulators the last time I played it, but like I want to get like an official copy and play it.
A lot of people will crap on the Sonic Origins collection, but that's a great way to play it.
That's probably what I'll
Um,
do.
it's cheap too. All right, 51 is The Last of Us Part 2 for the PS4. There it be.
I'm
Number
actually getting excited here. There's definitely some stuff that I know is towards the bottom of this list. I got a couple of things in my head that I can say for sure I know are at the bottom of this list, but like
yeah,
some things that are at the top of this list, I'm like, I wonder what the bottom, what the last, like I got a good idea of what's going to be in like like the teens and below, but like the stuff that's going to be in between, I'm like, what is in this list, man?
yeah, I know. It's like there's a lot of series stuff, and I understand that. Like I said, I used math, and you can't argue with math, right?
Yeah, that's what a little
Uh,
teachers say.
number 50, Ghostbusters the video game remastered for the PS4. It's it's a Gears of War Ghostbusters game, and it has Bill Murray in it. Of course, it's going to be number 50 on my all-time favorite list. It let me be a Ghostbuster. You want to know a fun fact for that one?
Please.
So so Activision was going to publish it until they dropped it. So when I was working at Game Crazy, they sent us all this promotional material, and everybody's like, "Why are they sending us Ghostbusters stuff? Nobody fucking likes Ghostbusters." And I'm like, "I will take it." So I still have the license plate and the lanyard. Like the license plate is on the front of my vehicle, the Ecto one, and I've got the Ghostbusters the
That's where
video
you
game
got that?
lanyard. That's where I got those from.
Nice.
So Activision dropped the game, and then Atari, like, so they effectively canceled it. The game was done. Atari picked it up and put out it was that, PS3, Xbox 360, it was DS, PS2, all this other stuff. I pre-ordered copies at several different retailers to get, like, Walmart had the Ghostbusters 2 like gray jumpsuit, like the dark one. One of them had a golden proton pack, and
Mhm.
I pre-ordered at all these retailers to get all the exclusive stuff for it.
So you pre-ordered it at multiple locations?
I did. I got every pre-order bonus.
That is that is the one of the breadiest things I've ever heard.
And then my online game glitched or whatever, so I was locked out of the platinum trophy. Ah, okay. Number 49 is Halo 3 for the Xbox 360.
Kind of thought this one would be lower, but I knew it would be on the list.
48, God of War 2 for the PlayStation 2.
God of War 2, definitely a classic.
47, The Legend of Zelda for the NES.
This one surprises me a little bit.
I still love that game. It's so good. 46, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves for the PlayStation 3.
Thought this one would be lower too.
At 45, Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, PlayStation 3. 44, Final Fantasy 9 for the PlayStation. I thought
Ah,
that one would be higher.
yeah, yeah.
Love you, baby.
But love me some Final Fantasy 9. Great game.
Vivi and Steiner, dude.
Yep. Legendary character writing. I think the characters of Final Fantasy 9 are some of the most some of the most expressive and some of the most like characters who go through the most growth and change and in like obvious and subtle ways that they ever wrote in a Final Fantasy.
Hmm. Agreed. It's on my list to go back to this year.
Andrea
43.
actually,
Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
one more thing. Andrea actually was like, "Have I ever actually seen Final Fantasy 9?" And I'm like, now that I think about it, the last time I played Final Fantasy 9, I think was before we were together. So like, I don't think she's ever seen it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to show you Final Fantasy 9 because it's an awesome game. But the remake's coming out apparently, possibly soon. So maybe I'll wait till
Supposedly.
that.
The original is still my favorite to play. It has the analog controls, so you can go in all directions. If you play the HD version of it, you can only move in 8 directions. So it's a port of the mobile version, and it drives me up a wall.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. And I played Final Fantasy 9 so many times that I noticed that, and it bothers me. What a weird thing to be mad about.
I
So,
it's that's just a weird thing. Like, yeah, I guess it's more of like we're gonna port the newest version of the game, but like it's weird that they
right,
ported the mobile version, not the original. It's weird.
I agree. And they did that with a bunch of the like the pixel remasters or all the mobile versions. 43 is God of War 3. 42 is Mega Man X2 for the Super Nintendo. Love that game.
Superstar
41 is
Meal.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch. Number 40 is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for the GameCube. 39 is Mass Effect 2 for the Xbox 360. 38 is Super Smash Brothers for the N64.
Heck yeah.
37 is Mega Man X4 for the PlayStation. There it be. Number 36, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo.
Your list is
And
making me want to play some games, man.
I know, right? So when I write my list out, typically, like if somebody was to ask, what's your favorite games ever? Turtles 4, Turtles in Time is usually in my top 10. So I'm a little, again, math.
Turtles in Time
30,
is Turtles in
what,
Time
go
is
ahead.
such a good game. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's like a I don't know if there's a more raw example of like what I don't know. I guess maybe like what video games were like during that time period than Turtles in Time.
Mhm. There are times when I doubt my love of the Super Nintendo, and then I think about games like Turtles in Time, and I'm like, I'm an idiot.
Never. I never
The-
have that feeling.
Number 35 is where I kind of like, again, you can't argue with math, right? Until I put on here number 35, Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64. I Nostalgia more than anything. And I used to play that game years after it came out. Like I would have parties over at my apartment, and I would just kick the shit out of people in Mario Kart 64. I am not good at it anymore, though. I'll tell you, like especially after playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I can't. I have a hard time going back to Mario Kart 64.
I I have a similar experience with the original Mario Kart. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I remember. I mean, we were when the original Mario Kart was popular. I was still in Little Brother land, so I mean, I always had my brother who was better than me. But I remember being pretty freaking good at Mario Kart, and
Mhm.
I picked it up recently because I have the Switch Online. And you can go to the Switch
Yeah.
Online store and just pop into like stuff like Mario Kart and just play it. And I'm like, I used to. I remember playing these tracks when I was a kid and being like disappointed when I hit the grass. Like this is really. I am really not playing my best here. I am in the grass, and like I spent half the match in the grass. I was
Yeah.
like I was playing Mario Kart Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like 3 days ago, and now I'm playing Mario Kart, and I cannot stay on the track.
Yeah. I have a hard time with it too. My cousins were always better at regular Mario Kart than I was. I'm not to say I wasn't bad at it, but when Mario Kart 64 hit, like, and that's the same thing with a lot of things. I'm better with 3D gaming than I am with 2D gaming in a lot of cases, except for like my Mega Mans, my Castlevanias, that kind of stuff, my Sonics. But like Mario, I totally prefer Mario to be 3D, and I think that's why I like Mario Kart 64 more than I like the original Mario Kart. All right, number 34, Halo Combat Evolved for the Xbox.
Played that like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks ago.
Number 33, Final Fantasy VIII for the PlayStation.
That's another surprise for me.
Yeah, that one, in my opinion, should be higher. But
As the guy, you're pretty much the Final Fantasy 8 guy.
yeah, that was the like I said earlier, talking about Chrono Cross. That was the second PlayStation game I bought when I got my PS1, and I got that one because they didn't have Final Fantasy VII. So that was my first entry with that was my like I had played Final Fantasy before at your house, but like or Final Fantasy just I forget it may have been three or seven, one of those. But anyway, yeah, I love Final Fantasy VIII.
Completely random interjection that has nothing to do with anything. I remember what my first PlayStation game was. I can still remember it like the back of my hand, and it was a game called Trap Gunner.
Oh, I would never have guessed that.
My
What's Trap Gunner?
oh god, it is okay. Essentially, it's a anime PlayStation version of Bomberman. Like it's essentially the
Oh,
like
is it good?
no, no. I mean it's not bad, but no.
I figure. No, that stinks.
It's like
You got your PlayStation pretty early though.
yeah, I mean I think
I remember you talking about it on the bus.
yeah, I think
I'm like, what the hell is PlayStation?
it might have been Trap Gunner. Like I just pulled it up and I'm looking at the release dates and stuff. I think it might have been like one of the first games that released for the PlayStation. Like
Oh, gotcha.
it is the release date is like September 30th, 1998.
Okay.
Like my mom just I don't even know what the connection is, but this was a thing that my mom did. I don't understand what went through her brain when she was doing these things, but like she would get something like get a PlayStation and then just the most random thing to go with it. Like no like she didn't think like Crash. Like Crash is the first like the big goofy cartoon character. Like the cover of Trap Gunner just says Trap Gunner with an anime girl with big boobs on it. And she bought it for me and my brother when we were like 13. I, I
See,
don't I don't
well,
understand.
she knew that you guys liked the anime.
Yeah,
That's a
but,
win for your mom.
but
It's the thought that counts too, right?
not like
Like she.
I'm not I would never be out here. Like my mom bought me a PlayStation. I would never be out here like should have got me a cool game, mom. Me and my brother played the absolute crap out of this game. I just don't understand when you see
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot on the cover of a game and then this purple haired anime girl with her boobs out. I don't understand why you pick the anime girl over Crash.
I've played Crash. I think you got the better game.
I mean, shut up, but like, it's just, I don't, the decision making is what I'm saying. The decision making is where I'm confused.
I feel you. I feel you.
Like, me and my brother, you know, I mean, I can't say this here because I'm talking to you, but like, me and my brother were like crazy. Gone. Me and my brother were like crazy Ninja Turtles fans when we were kids, like crazy Ninja Turtles fans. And like buying us Ninja Turtles would make us happy in any situation. But for some reason, my mom always walked past the Ninja Turtles to like the Troll doll action figures. And then me and my brother have 8 piles of Troll dolls that we got for Christmas as like kids in the 90s and boys in the 90s instead of like Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers or whatever. Like she did this all the time and I never understood it.
My heart hurts for you, dude. Stroll dolls.
Like there was a Christmas that I distinctly remember where me and my brother opened presents back to back for like 30 minutes and every single one was a troll doll. Like I open a troll doll, he opens a troll doll, I open a troll doll, he opens a troll doll back to back for like 20 minutes.
I bet he was pissed.
It was there were so many of them. Let's move because I love my mom and she did a lot of crazy good things when we were kids. I had a PlayStation. I had an Xbox. I had a GameCube. I had a 64. I had a Game Boy. I'm not complaining. I'm just the decision making is where what I'm talking about.
All right. Number 32 is Bioshock. Number 31 is Gears of War for the Xbox 360.
I would have put
Number,
I would have put Gears of War 2 above Gears of War, but math is math. Can't argue with spreadsheet.
math is math. Gears of War, the original one, I still like that better than the other three, or the other two rather. It was it was not a survival horror game, but there were horror elements to it. And you put horror in anything, I'm usually there for it.
Yeah. That's definitely a Brett move.
Number 30 is Tetris with the Game Boy. Number 29, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow version for the Game Boy. Number 28, Final Fantasy X for the PS2. Number 27, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the N64. Number 26, Mega Man 6 for the NES.
Not Mega Man 7. What are we fighting for?
Here, it's late. Gamedads at the door.
That's right.
I'm going to go to bed thinking about that. Number 25, WWF No Mercy for the N64.
I thought No Mercy was the one that we played in the garage.
You may have played No Mercy in there after the fact, but no, we played WCW.
Okay. All right. I trust you. I
always
thought it was.
I mean, that's what I remember. Number 24 was Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast.
Heck yeah. Freaking Crush 40 rules. And anyone who says they don't, fight me.
Yeah. I was listening to the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack today, but only the Knuckles level music.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pumpkin Hill one.
Pumpkin Hill's the best.
And Knuckles. Number 23, Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo.
Let's mess with that.
22 is Devil May Cry for the PS2.
Also mess with that.
21, God of War Ragnarok, PS5. After finishing it a second time, it may have gone higher, but I'm not putting I made this list before I started playing Ragnarok again. Ragnarok was so much better on the second playthrough. Number 20, Secret of Mana, Super Nintendo.
All right. Secret of Mana made the top 20 mathematically. I mess with that.
Oh, out of hundreds of video games, yeah, it's pretty high up there, dude. I love Secret of Mana.
I know there's a weird contingency of people who disagree with me on this, but I genuinely think that Secret of Mana has my favorite video game music of all video game music. Like you could literally play the Secret of Mana soundtrack on a loop and I would never get tired of it.
I agree. It's on Spotify too.
Oh shit, dude! I have a lo-fi playlist of Secret of Mana music I listen to all the fucking time.
Number 19. Are you ready for the Resident Evil onslaught?
Let's do
Number 19 is Resident Evil 4 Remake for the PS5.
cool, cool, cool,
Number
cool.
18. I'm sorry.
I just said cool, cool, cool.
Number 18 is Resident Evil for the GameCube, the remake. Don't think that's the best remake ever made. 17, God of War for the PS2.
Okay. That one surprises me.
That it's so higher or it's so low?
I mean, I know it's not the one, but I assumed that that God of War would have been higher on your list.
Number 16, Super Mario 64 for the N64.
Not a surprise.
Number No, I love Mario 64. Number 15 is Halo 2 for the Xbox. Number 14, Resident Evil 2 for the PS4, the remake. 13 surprised me. It's Metroid Prime for the GameCube. That's another one that I will typically put in my top 10. Number 12 is Mega Man 2 for the NES. Number 11 is Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube. And the top 10.
The top 10.
There is not one repeating franchise in my top 10. Okay. Number 10 is Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation. Number 9 is Batman Arkham Asylum for the PS3. Number 8, Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii.
Okay. That one surprises me a little bit.
That's my favorite Mario game. Number 7 is Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
Heck yeah.
That's another one that typically finds its way into my top 10. Same with Mario Galaxy. Number 6 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis.
Heck yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is still my favorite Sonic game of all time. It's
Same.
one of my favorite like 2D games of all time. Like Sonic 2 is so good, and it knows exactly what you want from it, and it just gives it to you. Like it knows that you just want to go fast and you want to feel like you're going fast, and like you just feel it all the time in that game in a way that like a lot of other Sonic games just never give you that. They never give you that, especially the Chronicles of the Brotherhood. I didn't feel fast in that game at all.
I beat that game.
I did too.
It was good. Well, it wasn't. But it was good. But it wasn't.
I'm doing that thing where I'm just gonna like bring up the most vague like reference I possibly can just for humor's sake, but I really did play the crap out of that game. It was just
so did I.
I don't know what it was, but it landed at the right moment, and I was just sitting around playing a Sonic RPG for hours and hours and hours.
Man, I have fun stories about that too, but we'll save them for another pod. Number 5, Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation.
As much as I wish I could hate on that game, because I have my own personal issues, but the issues that I have with that game aren't the game. It's my experience around the game. The same issues that I have with like Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Like, even without that, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a great game, and it's another one of those games that like the just if you pick it up and play it for 5 minutes, you can feel like the energy coming from that game. Like you can feel that game is something special the second you start walking around in it.
Yeah. I feel like that with Sonic. I feel like that with Castlevania. I also feel like that with number 4, Mega Man X. Just perfect video games. In fact, I think most everything in my top 10 is a perfect video game. Mega Man X. I think we mentioned this at one point where like if aliens came down and they were like, they want to know specifically about video games, like I think Mega Man X would be the game we would show them. You agree with that?
Yeah. It's I because I got that Mega Man collection. I literally was playing Mega Man X like I think maybe yesterday or the day before. I was playing through the first level, and the first level of Mega Man X is just like it's 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 the equivalent of like I don't even like picking up the first. It's like the first chapter of a book in video game form. It tells you everything you need to know about the game. The the inciting event of the first level of Mega Man X carries you all the way to the ending. Every word in it, it's so perfect and perfectly made that I said this before. I think if you are studying video games, making video games in like school, Mega Man, the first level of Mega Man X should be a chapter in your book.
Yep, I agree. I plan on getting back to X here soon. I'm still working my way through zero. I eventually like when we get through like the top 100s and all that stuff. Like I there's a story through Mega Man X going through Mega Man Zero that I think is actually pretty solid. All right, number 3, Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation. You knew it was going to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've got I've got a pretty I've got a pretty good idea about what at least one of these next two are gonna be, but because of a previous sentence, I'm fairly certain I know one of these games. I don't know which one the other one.
Number 2 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the N64.
That's the one I was like, I'm pretty sure the next one is going to be Ocarina of Time.
Aaron, it lost by 1 point
I was
to
like,
number 1, God of War for the PlayStation 4.
that is what I thought. That is what I thought the last two were going to be.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought you were going to troll me and put Breath of the Wild at number one.
No, Breath of the Wild wasn't even on my list at all.
I kind of thought you were going to troll me and put Breath of the Wild at number one. And if you had of, I probably would have gotten in the car
and brought me ice cream.
I mean, after I break your nose, then I could bring you ice cream while you're in the hospital.
Oh, honestly, like when I made out the list, like Breath of the Wild was one of the ones that missed the cutoff. A few games did, and like that was definitely one of them. But Ocarina of Time did lose by 1 point to God of War, and I said this on multiple podcasts or whatever, but like at one point I just started kind of thinking of like when's the last time that I really shook up my top 10, and that's what I started thinking about, stuff like God of War, stuff like the Resident Evil 2 remake, and there's quite a few PS5 games on here as well, which I'm pretty proud of. Like, and I think that's a testament to like what modern games are
Mm-hmm.
and where they stand with nostalgia plays a big part of it as well. But like, I think we're especially in the PS4 era, and now like the PS5 is taking what was great about PS4 and bringing the technology up with it as well. I just like the God of War 2018 for PS4 just blew me away in a way that Ocarina of Time also blew me away when I first played it. I'll never be able to recapture that. You and I are at a perfect age where we grew up with video games, and like we grew up alongside video games. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
better way to putting it. And we were there for the NES, we were there for the Super Nintendo with the Genesis, into 3D gaming with PlayStation and N64. Like we've been there for every stage of it. The handheld, craze with Pokemon and all that other stuff. Like we've been there through it all. And like it's hard to recapture those firsts,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's hard to recapture the feeling I had when I played Secret of Mana with you guys. Like that was my first real RPG, and I feel like everything's been kind of chasing that ghost a little bit. Ocarina of Time, that was like Mario 64 blew me away, but Zelda is the one that like really showed me what a mature Nintendo game could be because it felt like Nintendo at that point was growing up alongside me.
Hmm.
Stuff like Resident Evil 2, like when it came out, like I had never played a mature video game like that before. And like mature is in like, the blood and the gore and the horror and all that other stuff. I had never seen anything like that before. I don't know, but I worked really hard on this list and I'm pretty proud of it.
Okay. I have
So,
one thing to say, unless I'm having a memory just like not remembering when you said it.
mhm.
I'm surprised that Red Dead Redemption 2 was not on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unless I'm forgetting, I mean, we did go through 100. It might have been there somewhere, and I'm just forgetting.
No,
But
it wasn't.
I don't.
It
I
wasn't.
don't remember you saying Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was like,
No.
I was expecting it to
Well,
be hit down towards the bottom of this list.
yeah, yeah. I honestly, I have to go back to my master list, and I wonder if it maybe just got lost on the cutting room floor. But there were a lot of different things that factored into the list. I'm glad you called that out too, because that's one that I would probably put on my top 10. But again, this was done with like an Excel spreadsheet and everything got a value. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a few games that are missing off here that I mean various Mega Man games, but I don't know.
yeah, homie, I'm
Yeah,
paying attention. I know what games Brett talks about.
yeah,
I notice when
yeah,
something's not there because I'm listening.
yeah. And I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I don't think any list is perfect, and I think just and that's one thing like because when something's gonna get forgotten about at some point in time, or it's gonna get like Breath of the Wild probably deserves to be on this list just because of like what it meant for me and Drake. But I don't know.
You didn't put it on there because you didn't want to hurt me.
No, I didn't want to hurt you.
I understand.
I love you. Anyway, that's my list. Uh, I am. I don't even know what I would. Well, I guess Fight Night would have to get. I think it would get bounced off of here. Sorry, Evander Holyfield,
Man, I mean,
Manny Pacquiao.
to listeners, I mean, if you are checking this out, if you checked out this list or listening to this list, I mean, I'm gonna give the Aaron stamp of approval to Brett's list because, like I
Good.
said, I don't know if I know anybody who plays more games than Brett does. So if a game that you were like, man, I kind of want to play that is on this list, that means check it out.
Yeah. I kind of blame because I talked to Drake about this too. We have hundreds of video games on like between our PlayStation library, Switch, and Xbox, and Steam, and blah blah blah. Like when I was his age, my mom would go to like Blockbuster or whatever and rent a game, right? And we didn't buy very many games. Games were expensive back in the day. But sometimes you would get you know Turtles in Time. Sometimes you would get the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas or whatever it was. And but dude, like I would even if I got Flintstones, I would play the absolute crap out of that game. I've been doing this for a long time. I could have probably made a career out of video games. I'm too much of a fan to like if I start working on it, I don't want to make myself hate them. You know what I mean? I love video games. I love the art. I love how fun it is. I love how frustrating it makes me sometimes. There's a lot of different games on here, and like I'm always down to try something new. This is my favorite hobby, and I've met my best friends because of this. Aaron and I like we we went to the same bus stop and just happened to both mention video games at one point, and the rest was history. I'm sure it probably didn't happen exactly like that, but
Yeah, it's a common interest that we have always
Yeah,
shared. So it was something that always, allowed us to relate to each other and keep, be something that was central to our friendship. So
right. I just, they've given me a lot in life, and I'm just it it's why I'm here doing this podcast with my best friend and get to share all this stuff with everybody. So yeah, didn't mean to get all sappy on Game Dads After Dark, but here we are. I'm tired. My sleep aids have been kicking in for they kicked in about number 37.
a
So I'm waffling now, aren't I?
little bit, but it's all good. What I will say is, like I said before, if something is on this list that you were thinking about checking out, I use Brett as an authority for all kinds of stuff related to video games. If Brett says check it out, I'm gonna check it out if I can. So
Yeah.
suggest that everyone does the same.
Heck yeah.
I have already gotten the wrap it up from my wife. So my positive for today is I am possibly getting a new position at work. Well, I'm definitely getting a new position at work. It's just figuring out which one of the two positions that I'm kind of in the running for I'm actually going to end up getting. So, wish me luck. And that is my
Yeah.
positive.
My positive is that I'm recovering a little bit better than I thought I was going to after my vasectomy. I am no longer discolored, and I'm going to continue working on my daughter's room this weekend. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
I We just got some new wallpaper for our baby room, and we're gonna hopefully start working on it this weekend.
Oh, you may have a secret for me later, then, right?
Possibly. I'm still not sure if I'm allowed to spill the beans yet, but hopefully.
No, don't feel like you have to. So if you can, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. I'm cool either way, my friend.
All
I
right.
love you guys and I respect you.
And I appreciate it. All right.
Absolutely.
Whimmity wham wham wazzle, and I will see y'all all next time.
Tell them Large Marge sent you. Love y'all. Goodbye.
Peace.